And welcome back to another episode of the Paranormal Trucker. I am the Paranormal Trucker, episode 6. Have my convoy, Snowman, and Large Marge. You see there?
Hello.
Hey,
In one square, you all see them.
yes,
How's it feel?
technology and
Technology.
Barstool does great.
That's
we
right.
we're
up in our game.
We are in the future. Well, myself and Biggie here, we are going to bring you some news brought to you by my iPhone. So, how have you guys been this week?
Busy.
Busy. We did another podcast. Shout out to Seth, who had us on. What's the name of the full name of his podcast?
His podcast is Seth's Daily Podcast, and he has guests from everywhere. He is he's killing it out here, and he had us on last night. So thank you, Seth, for letting us be a part of your show. Had a good time. Had a really good time.
We had a wonderful time.
And
we got a new member to our family today.
You had an unexpected email from that.
I did. I had he had asked me about my Native American heritage, and I told him of the story about my 5-time great grandfather Golden Hawk Sizemore, who is from Sayersville in McGoffin County, and some listener was listening, and they are a descendant of Golden Hawk, so it's my cousin.
Wow.
So she found me on Facebook and friended me, and so now I have a new friend on Facebook and a new cousin. And I'm sure if anybody out there is listening and you have any ties in Eastern Kentucky for Sizemores, we're probably related.
Very interesting. Now, so what was the story with why there's so many why there would be so many different people related?
Well, Golden Hawk was a very interesting little Cherokee where they got him for bigamy in 1910 because he claimed 5 households that he was the head of. And he crossed the county and went into Floyd County and got my great grandmother pregnant. So they got him for bigamy and a whole bunch of different, I have the transcript, it's really interesting, whole bunch of different charges. Anyway, he fathered somewhere between 54 and 57 children. They don't have an exact count. And they said if every one of his ancestors donated $1, that we could build a monument as big as Washington Monument in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. And to add to that, which I didn't even get to talk about on the other podcast, if you're from Eastern Kentucky, you've probably heard of Redbird. There's a Redbird Mission School down here. There's Redbird River. There's a town called Redbird, which is right off of 80 in, I believe it's Letcher County. I could be wrong about that. But anyway, that is Golden Hawk Sizemore's grandfather was Chief Redbird, who all of this is named after. So that's my ancestor as well. So it's really interesting. There's a lot of roots that run deep down here.
Oh, definitely.
And I'm the great niece of Daniel Boone on the other side. So Mike says that's why I'm bipolar, because I'm Daniel Boone pioneer on one side and Native American Indian on the other side.
Well, I'm not sure who Mike is. I'm sure you meant Snowman.
No.
Oh, I'm sure I did. It was the Snowman. Damn it.
We're getting there. We
Snowman.
are getting there.
We're going to have cue cards that set up here that said, call me Snowman.
It's all good.
We may have to get one of these shot collars like we have on Diesel here
That's
and put on each other.
It beat me. Snowman. Snowman.
Yeah, but I'm afraid what'll happen is I'll beat her when I screw up. I'll get the juice.
Yeah. No. Now as everyone knows, I had a dog named Diesel. Diesel is now Snowman and Large Marge's dog, and it is not because it's not because I don't like him or he's a handful or whatever. It's because I'm on the road constantly and I don't have the
I'm trying to
time.
get him in the picture.
I don't have, and thinking about his best interest at heart, having the time to give him the attention that he needs. He's a big, just a big ball of fun, man, a big ball of energy. And unfortunately, it's not fair to him to have to stay inside of a house while I'm at work most of the day. And you guys over there, you have a fairly large piece of property that he can run free.
And I am retarded, so I don't work.
Retarded? You meant retired.
Well,
Um,
so I'm here all day.
Surely you meant retired and not the other thing you said, right?
Oh, I'm probably not even allowed to say that anymore now with all the left wingers.
It's okay.
Well, I would call myself that, so it's all right.
We grew up at a different time. That's an acceptable word.
That is an acceptable word.
This has been the last episode of the Paranormal Trucker. Thank you all for tuning in. The FCC undoubtedly will cancel us by tomorrow.
No, I can guarantee that actually probably got us more listeners.
I don't know.
Hold nothing back, sir.
You got to remember, we live in Joe Biden's America now, so everything's offensive.
Yeah,
well, some of
even
us,
even the fact that I just said that probably will offend someone.
Well, if we get to edit this video, I will insert my favorite meme. Yes, I will.
No, I mean we're not going to get to edit it because it's going to go straight to.
No, you need to be saving this.
No, it's going to be saved, but it's going to be uploaded as soon as we're done.
Oh well, okay.
As I do with all of our shows. What's he doing?
He just over.
He's wanting to get Nene. He's fascinated with Nene.
By her. And she, bless her heart.
She just finally got wore out, laid out in the middle of the kitchen floor. She couldn't even make it back to her docking station.
Yeah.
All right. As you can tell, this show is going to be a little bit unscripted. We are. We're going to be.
Nene, hang on a minute. We might have an emergency here. Zoe. Yeah, she's moving.
Okay.
We're just making sure she's still alive.
Well, she could have a heart attack or something.
Well, no, could have.
She just plopped down on the kitchen floor. She usually don't do that. Okay, we're back.
She reminds me of a human that I know. And you guys know her too. Huh?
You talking about me?
No.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. I've said she's the dog version of this person before.
Oh yes.
No, and what we're talking about, Nene, as we call her, is a Shih Tzu who is at this point now 21 years old. Is that right?
She's probably going to be 20 here, just the next little bit.
And for people who own Shih Tzus, they know that 11 years is a long life for those dogs. Right? Is that correct? Did I say that right?
That's correct.
Now, we have to keep her alive for another 3.5 years because the World Guinness record is 23 years and some odd months. So we need to keep her alive for a while.
Yeah.
We're going for a record here, people. Snowman, what do you have for us this week?
Well, like I said, I have been super busy and hadn't had much of a chance to do any research. I've been researching one that we're going to do a topic on next week. So that's kind of taking up what free time I had. But I got on and joined a Facebook group. Oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it. I think it's UFO Hunters or something like that. They put on a really cool video. And it was basically a night vision camera aimed at the sky. and you see a flock of birds flying over in a V shape, and then you see a couple of satellites go over, and then there's another light that just kind of comes from the top of the screen down, and as it goes down, it all of a sudden stops, changes directions, and takes off. And that was a pretty cool video. But I saw it on Facebook is where I actually saw it, and it's very interesting.
Yeah.
That's something we're doing this on a shoestring, so I don't have a night vision. I went up to the sky and do stuff like that here, but that was actually a pretty cool video.
Definitely. And I'm convinced that if we went to an area where there was no light pollution, maybe out in the desert or something like that, which is probably why a lot of sightings you can see a lot of stuff there. I'm almost convinced that if we had no light pollution on the planet, you would be able to look up at any point at any time and see some sort of UFO.
No, and probably. But now where we live over here, there's a couple of dusk to dawn lights, and but if you kind of block those out, where you're not getting the light pollution on your eyes, if you kind of block those out, I mean, you can see the Great Rift, like the center of the Milky Way galaxy. You can actually see it with your naked eyes here.
Yeah.
And
the only issue,
really clear. But now the issue we have here, we have a hillside on one side and a hillside on the other side, so we got a limited view of what we can see.
Right, and that's what I was going to say. The only issue that you have there is the limit of what you can see. You can only see probably what is that? Probably 30 degrees of the sky, maybe where you're at.
Yeah, probably from hillside to hillside, you're probably looking at 30, maybe 45 degrees.
Yeah, no more.
But now, one thing I did get to see, which was cool as it could be, and me and you saw it, because I was still living over there in Pikeville, and we were sitting out back, and when President Trump had his military display in Washington, we actually got to see one of the last two flying B-29s go right straight over the house.
Well,
and that was on a Friday, I think Thursday or Friday, and so I came over here on either Friday night or Saturday morning, I can't remember which, but Sunday morning I got up, was just sitting out on the porch smoking, and I hear something droning again, and this thing flew right back over top of the house.
Well, I was actually over there during that time. I was there at Pikeville, and I was there at Hazard as well. Yeah, no, that was very cool. I've never seen a B-29 before then or since fly.
No, they say there's only two in the United States that are flightworthy, and this one I actually did some research on it to see where it came from, and it's based out of Texas. So they flew that thing from Texas to Washington and back. And you're looking at a plane that's probably pushing 100 years old now.
Yeah. Well, and that's interesting. I mean, the B-52s are their life expectancy have been pushed up to 100 years as well.
Yeah.
I liked Rock Lobster.
That's what do what?
She liked Rock Lobster.
I'm lost.
Yeah, well, I don't think she didn't see it, so she wasn't part of that conversation. She had to interject.
Rock Lobster.
God love her.
Well, do you know why he said that? Because the band that sings that is called the B-52s.
B-52s, I get it now. Oh, just a little slow.
Gee, I got to educate you all. Come on.
Yeah, a little slow. I never was a B-52 fan, so.
I wasn't either, but I know that they sang Rock Lobster and Love Shack.
Yeah, I know Love Shack.
Rock Lobster is pretty funny. Rock Lobster.
So, Marge, what have you got for us this week?
Well,
And keep in mind, guys, we're researching, all three of us, heavily on the listener suggested topic that we're going to be covering next week. So, unfortunately, time got away from us, and this is
this is
one of those shows we're winging right now.
well, yeah, if that's what you want to call it. Well, I was gonna say we were BSing our way through this.
all right.
No. Well, we have some groupies, so we have to put our stuff out there.
Oh yeah. Well, we gotta keep it going. But and that's what.
What we talk about?
Well, this morning when Seth, he messaged me and sent that the lady's information.
Yeah.
Marge, and we were just kind of texting back and forth, and he said, I told him that I wasn't a fan of social media.
Yeah.
And and never ever thought I would be on or part of a podcast. But this is fun. I enjoy doing this. When I'm when I get the time looking up, things that I probably wouldn't have looked up unless I just saw it on a video and it caught my interest.
Right.
And this thing we're doing
He
next
likes
week.
the air conditioner.
Yeah, Diesel over here got his head stuck in the air conditioner right now.
He's just standing there letting the cold air blow on him. It's so funny.
But anyway, and I just never thought this would be something that I would be involved in. But I enjoy it. And the
We
other,
look forward to it.
the other podcasts, Spooky Family and Seth, I enjoyed being on those. Those were fun.
Mm-hmm.
And we got, I got to let my hair down a little bit last night, and I got off topic a little bit, but
Oh God, yeah. Did you?
It's we just we're trying to keep ours not political. I went on a rant last night, so I apologize.
Here. I see enough of that shit on television and at the restaurants and everything. I'd like to get somewhere where I could just sit and talk about other stuff with like-minded people.
See, and my biggest problem is I drive an hour to work, an hour home from work, and when I'm at work, if I'm not on a job site, I am sitting behind a computer with nobody to talk to. So if I hear something that kind of pisses me off, then Marge catches it when I get back, and I try to keep that to a minimum as possible, but sometimes it spews.
Oh, we talk about that stuff all the time at the house.
Yeah.
But when I want to be entertained, it's just like with these celebrities when they go on these political rants and that. I don't want to hear them bullshit about that. I don't want to hear it.
No, not at all.
I don't care what their political views are. I want to be entertained.
Yes.
My nose is itching. That means somebody's coming.
Ooh.
That's what it means.
I thought it was going to bring you money.
No, that's when your palms itch.
Damn it.
My palms itch all the time. I don't have any money.
That's what it means.
Yeah.
That means it's going to bring you money. Your nose itches means somebody's coming.
Well,
That's what my mama used to say.
maybe JDog's coming back. Maybe we can get him to tell us a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Snowman, I just sent you a message there. Will you read that and just give me a yes or no?
Okay.
And while he's reading that, we've got some, I've got some stuff that I want to talk about that we had. We've got some interesting things happening in a town north or kind of west of us, northwest of us in Bardstown, Kentucky. Some very strange events have been going on as far as mysterious unsolved murders and crimes. Sorry?
You froze up there for a second.
Oh, well, we've got some very mysterious unsolved style murders in Bardstown, which is just, what is that, probably 3 hours northwest of us? Two and a half?
Bardstown is let's see, from
So far
from
Lexington,
Hazard is
isn't it?
only an
Yeah, so
hour and a
far
half
from
drive. So you're looking about a 2-hour drive from the Pike.
Okay. So on Memorial Day weekend in 2013, 33-year-old Bardstown, Kentucky police officer Jason Ellis was ambushed and killed on an exit ramp off the Bluegrass Parkway.
Yes.
And then, which that murder is still unsolved. And essentially, what happened was there was an exit ramp. He was going home for the night, and there was some trees or some brush in the road, and he stopped to clear it. And when he got out of his vehicle to clear the roadway, somebody shot him from a distance, and then also apparently shot him once or twice more at close range. So that basically what it told investigators is that either one shooter was walking toward him and firing at incredible accuracy, or there was two shooters. Very strange. That is still unsolved. If you have any information on that, please contact the Bardstown Police Department or Kentucky State Police. On the day after Easter in 2014, 48-year-old Kathy Netherland and her 16-year-old daughter Samantha were brutally murdered inside their home in Botland, which is just outside the Bardstown city limits. Now I heard about this murder, and the details of this one are they're horrific. And I hope and pray that the mother wasn't alive when the daughter was killed, because it would have been very, very hard for her. During the 4th of July weekend in 2015, a 35-year-old mother of 5, Crystal Rogers, vanished, and her car was eventually discovered abandoned on the Bluegrass Parkway. Now, this one has drawn the attention of the FBI. It has made news recently where they have a person of interest who owns some construction company or a realty company or something, and they've been actually going to these houses where this gentleman has either worked or sold or whatever in the past, and they're digging up the driveways, going through stuff. And then a week before Thanksgiving in 2016, Crystal's father, 50-year-old Tommy Ballard, was shot and killed while hunting on his private property with his grandson. Now that lady has been reported missing, and her father the following year was killed. Those crimes remain unsolved. Nelson County Sheriff Ray Pinero said, "It's mind-boggling to have so many unsolved cases in this county, and reward money offered isn't bringing anyone forward. It's never happened here, 4 high-profile cases, and that's just the high-profile ones. It's mind-boggling that you have that type of reward money on 4 cases and nothing comes up." Now someone has speculated, because Bardstown is not far from Louisville. So some have speculated that it's gang related. These murders are gang related, but we don't know. If anyone has any information, please report it to the Bardstown City Police, the Nelson County Sheriff's Department, or the Kentucky State Police. And even if you have information on Crystal Rogers, please contact the FBI.
Well, that's terrible. I don't think there'd be anything worse in the world than to have a death in your family and it be unsolved.
I agree. It's very sad.
Or to be missing, just to go missing and never be found.
Right.
That's got to be horrible.
Have you been watching the news on this Gabby Petito case?
Yes. They're supposed
crazy.
to have a news release at 6 o'clock.
Well, they, oh my gosh, I think JDog's coming in.
What about that?
I remember those noises. He's getting worked up.
Come on, Sam. All right, boys, settle down.
Everybody settle down now. Remember how big Sam used to look? Now look how little he looks.
So, did you get that message I sent you?
Yes. And that's fine.
Good.
You're okay with that?
Yes.
So we have an announcement to make.
No, we're on our podcast.
Oh, you're all right.
No, you're all right.
Yeah.
Hey, ask JDog if he's got a story.
Yeah, well,
JDog just
we're
walked
trying to
into
talk
business.
JDog into telling us a story. He don't want to get on camera, but he might tell us one.
JDog's our good friend, and he just stopped in. He don't want to be on camera, but maybe we can
Coax him into telling a
coax
good
him
story.
in, or at some point coax him into telling us a good joke. He's a great joke teller.
Well, he's
Uh-oh.
got something. Let's hear
Yeah, he's got one story that's a true story, and I swear I crack up every time he tells it.
it. Well, let's hear it.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of language involved.
You
So
know,
if anybody's gonna be offended, don't listen.
yeah, earmuffs.
Earmuffs.
Hey,
Diesel's excited to hear it.
Like Led Zeppelin,
Listen.
went through the outdoor.
Hit through the outdoor.
well, then you want to tell us a story about oh boy, putting the guy and putting him in the car?
Oh,
That cracks me up.
Tell him to walk.
Yeah, just walk
Just
up,
stand behind there.
it.
You don't have to stand
I
where.
was just like that.
Okay, well,
All right.
we'll have Jambo back. Oh, I mean, JDog.
Who is it? What's his name? JDog?
Marge slipped the tongue here.
Put that collar on her.
I can't get these names down. I keep
Oh, my
calling him
gosh.
by his real name.
JDog.
JDog. We will get JDog back at another
Don't insult me with
podcast.
these other freaky
I
names.
know that was an insult. I don't mean to do that. But JDog he'll tell us when he gets more worked up, he gets more prepared. We caught him
All right.
off guard today.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem. No problem at all.
Go to the top of the mountain, so
Oh,
I still got back dragging, so you can go to. But it's
well,
four-wheel drive.
we'll check that out.
We'll have to do that.
Yeah, he did. He
Did
just
you go to the pond?
Yeah.
Did you see the fish?
I didn't know.
Did you?
he just told us that he opened up a new trail. over
Oh.
here.
On the property here so
Yeah.
we can ride.
So we can
Yeah.
ride.
Because that's something we like to do.
Very exciting. Now you said it, that message I sent you. You're okay with announcing that? So we
Yeah.
have a very special announcement. It seems that our very own Snowman and Large Marge have decided to tie the knot
Okay.
in
Yes.
the spring. Congratulations, you two.
Thank you.
JDog's going to perform the wedding.
Could you all look a little more excited to be getting the courts involved in your love?
Is that exciting?
I
At
guess.
our age,
Yeah.
it's not all that pumpkin circumstance. We're not going to have an $80,000 wedding.
Oh my God.
I
I
know.
certainly hope not.
I said it can't happen though until there's two things. The snowman has to save his money up to take me to Hawaii, and I require at least a 2-carat diamond ring.
So this
So
wedding
it might be a while.
it may go past the spring.
Okay, so it might be a bit. All right. Well, their intentions are to get married.
Our intentions are good.
Yeah, their intentions are to get married.
Plan. You want to see something funny?
But uh-oh.
This is this show. Like I said, guys, this is just kind of off the cuff.
Unscripted.
Unscripted went off the rails pretty
Totally
quick.
unscripted.
Um,
Watch these two together there.
Went
But-
off the rails. So
yeah, and it's going to be one of our shorter shows again because
Yeah.
we are trying to, between our crazy work schedules and our ability to focus and our ADD acting up and things, we are trying our best to sink all of our eggs into researching this listener topic that we're going to talk about next week, and hopefully it'll be a very good episode.
It
yes,
will be
guys,
very
it
good.
will.
episode.
So
but
I'm,
now I do have one other thing that, I mean, it's in the news and I'm sure some people watched it, but SpaceX just launched 3 days, I think on Wednesday, launched the first civilian astronauts.
very cool.
And they spent 3 days in orbit and they landed last night about 7 o'clock. There was, I don't know if he's a billionaire, but he's a wealthy guy. He put the money up and they did it as a fundraiser for St. Jude Children's Hospital. And, they were wanting to raise $2 million. Or unless it was 2 million. It was something like that, 2 million, 200 million. I can't remember. It was quite a bit. And anyway, he was supposedly on a call with SpaceX on another business-related topic, and just in passing, he said that he hoped that SpaceX was opening up travel soon, and they said, "Well, it's probably sooner than you think."
Oh, really?
And, yes, and so he did this. He worked with St. Jude's for this fundraiser and wrote them I'm thinking it's $100 million check for half of the fundraiser,
Mm-hmm.
and got them, and they pulled a physician's assistant out of St. Jude that had cancer and a prosthetic implant in her leg, and she was the first selectee to go into space with him. And then
wow.
they found a geologist, and then another guy just made a donation, saw the commercial on the Super Bowl, made a donation, and they picked him. And so they had really a diverse group of people going. And there's actually a really cool documentary on Netflix. I watched it this morning. It's only like 3 episodes, but it was all about them, how they got picked, how everything got started, and their training all the way up to the time of launch. And it was very interesting, and it was I enjoyed watching that. But now on the downside, they're saying that the government, I don't know who controls space, I guess the FAA or whatever, were saying they were not going to get astronaut wings because they had reclassified in order to be an astronaut. They had to be in the military or belong to NASA or something like that, which I think is total bullshit.
Yeah, that's
if they don't, then I suggest that they call them exonauts for SpaceX and get them a set of wings because they deserve it.
Exonaut.
Absolutely, I agree with that 100%.
That was, but it was pretty cool. Their Dragon capsule, they weren't docking with the space station or anything. They actually went higher than the space station. They went out farther than any human has been since the Apollo landings back in the 60s and early 70s.
Then they can't be astronauts.
They can't be astronauts. But their Dragon capsule, because they weren't docking, they took the docking door off of it and put a big glass bubble so they could basically climb up out of this thing and look around and take pictures.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd love
to have had a seat on that flight.
Space, I'm good with that. I don't want to be a part of that.
Me either.
Oh my gosh, I'd have went to arcade.
Now, when I was younger, I would have definitely been a part of that. I would have loved to, but I'm getting to the point now where it hurts me to get out of bed, so I would never want to ride a rocket to space.
Oh, well, my back's not the best ever was, but I'd have chanced
it. All right, so we're gonna close out with a horror story from the road. When I was younger, my family and I went on a road trip to Wyoming to see Yellowstone National Park. It's a beautiful place, and if you haven't seen it yet, I recommend it. Anyways, so from our home in California, it was about a 17-hour drive. It took us several days worth of on and off driving to get there. And during the nights, we would try to find a little motel to rest at. One of the nights, due to us being behind schedule, my dad attempted to drive through the night and get us there sooner. He made it probably into the wee hours of the night or morning, I assume, before he deemed it unsafe and parked us in the little unlit rest stop in the middle of the woods. My brothers and I had fallen asleep in the car several hours before he'd stop. So for at least a couple hours, we were all sleeping in the car in this dark little parking lot surrounded by forest. Having a couple hours of sleep and being in a pretty uncomfortable position, I woke up in the middle of the night, pretty disoriented, but not really scared. I looked around and saw everyone fast asleep in this pitch black car, and naturally, I felt pretty alone. I tried to fall back asleep, but it wasn't working out, so I just sat there for a while, boredom setting in, looking out the window to see where we were. It was pitch black, so I couldn't see jack shit. Luckily, I wasn't the type to pack light, and I found a couple flashlights in my bag. Being careful not to disturb my sleeping family, I reached into the back seat and unzipped my bag and pulled out a little plastic yellow flashlight. It wasn't the brightest, but it was enough to see the foreground and the general surroundings. I put it up to the glass, making sure not to make any noise, and pushed the little switch into the position. I pressed my face up against the glass and looked out. At first, it looked like a normal tree line with some brushes, trees, whatever. But as I scanned the darkness, looking for animals and buildings, etc., I noticed this dark shape standing between these two trees in the distance. It looked like the shape of a man, but it wasn't moving, just sitting there. After watching it for a good while and seeing no real signs of movement, I just assumed it was a bush or some kind of natural occurrence. Just as I was about to turn the light off and reattempt sleep, I saw the shadow shape turn 90 degrees and move behind a tree, disappearing from sight. This scared me, and I immediately turned off the flashlight and threw my sweater turned blanket over my head, shut my eyes tightly, and covered my ears. I was paralyzed with fear and too full of adrenaline to get any sleep. I sat in this semi-fetal position, clutching my flashlight for the rest of the night. I waited until the sun came up and we were back on the road before I got any sleep. I didn't tell anybody about the man I saw in the woods.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I would have been frozen with fear too.
it's terrifying. And, guys, I can't underestimate how, I can't overstate how dangerous some of these people and some areas are now. You have to be vigilant and be very careful at rest areas.
Yes. And I never realized, I guess I'm just so naive. I didn't realize the rest stop thing until I started watching movies and watching like 2020 and stuff like that, like news shows. And they would tell about all this stuff, especially with truckers. There's a code that they tell over the CB, and it means to meet them in the back of the in the back part of the truck stop, or not truck stop, road stop, rest area, if you were gay or whatever. Have you ever heard of anything like that?
No, fortunately, I've not, and I've never. Now, the only thing that I've seen that's anything remotely like that is, of course, we all seen phone numbers and things, and for a good time call scribbled on the rest area stalls. But thankfully, I'm not familiar with the term. I've read something similar to what you're talking about.
Right.
But as far as actually hearing like a certain code word or something like that over a CB while I'm parked somewhere like that, I've not ever heard anything like that. But again, it's not to say that it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? There are some strange people out there. Not that being gay or anything like that is strange. I'm just saying that there is a lot of strange folks out there who don't always have the best intentions for people, best values, best intentions.
Well, you think about that because you stop at the rest areas when you're traveling when it's the middle of the night and stuff. That doesn't make a safe environment.
Not at all.
I would be scared.
Well, and a lot of these rest areas are in the middle of nowhere between larger cities or even towns. They're away from a lot of civilization, we'll call it. And even in an emergency situation, if you call 911, it's hard. Most people are traveling through and passing through. They don't know exactly where they're at, and it's hard to explain where you're at. So you're at kind of a disadvantage if someone or a local or something like that is there trying to take advantage of a naive motorist.
Right. I think I need another dog.
I think you do.
Another raccoon. I used to have a raccoon.
Yeah, the thing
and
was
I
wild,
had her
wasn't
for
it?
about a year, and she tore this house up like nobody's business. She wasn't mean to us or anything. She was a little doll baby. She'd lay on you and let you love on her and everything. But man, she tore this house up. So one day I just opened the door and out she went. I said, goodbye.
She's honestly probably still around there.
She probably is still around.
I'm
She's
sure.
got to be somewhere.
She's got to be close by, I'd say. But
Anyway, so
Just
was
set
that
that
all
on
we
the
got?
counter.
All we got today?
Well, I was getting ready to ask you guys that. That's all I have. If you guys have got everything out of the way, we're going to go ahead and call this an episode. And thank you all for joining in and bearing with us today. Like I said, was kind of an episode that we were just kind of winging. We wanted to put something out there for you guys. It's not fair to
Try to get him to
not have something out there. So we want to thank Seth's Daily Podcast for having us on last night. Guys, go give him a listen. Check us out on his show, and also Justin from Talk Junkie. Thank you for just being you, dude. And we can't wait to have you on again. Elliot and his spooky family, go give them a listen. And Goose and Dirty Dan from Here to Chew Bubblegum, go give them a listen. All great guys, and definitely some good content. With that being said, I think episode, because it sounds like hell is
the kitchen's falling apart.
We just there's a diesel ran through the house. We're trying to.
Alrighty.
That's so funny.
Thank you again, and we will see you next Sunday.
And tell them Large Marge sent you.